Live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. My name is Brian Engelman.
And I'm Blake Walley.
And today is Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023. We are going to cover so many topics. We're going to cover the best topics, the biggest topics. So here's what we're going to talk about. Agree or disagree that we should be suspicious about the events and officials running Maui. Agree or disagree that after the Hawaiian catastrophe, Joe Biden should declare a climate emergency. Or you could say you've watched his performance in Hawaii and we need to declare a humanity crisis situation, a humanitarian catastrophe. An emergency is taking place. This man could not be any more. Anyway, I'm going to save it for the show.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. Agree or disagree that Trump should surrender in Georgia and serve his sentence in silence. Woo, that's like Eminem wrote that on a train. Serve his sentence in silence. Serve his sentence in silence. I like that. Agree or disagree? People would rather watch Trump on Tucker than the Republican debate. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that Republican debate because do you agree or disagree that Larry Elder deserves a spot on the Milwaukee GOP debate stage? Hey, that's a good one. Also, the powers that be, are they planning another pandemic with lockdowns? Agree or disagree? Should we cut population and ban meat and dairy and private vehicles and fun and humor and sexual gratification and love in 2030? I don't know. Maybe it seems like we're sliding down that slippery slope. Slippery slope. Serve his sentence in silence on a slippery slope. Yeah. Also, finally, we'll agree or disagree that selling parts of the border wall is a good idea to raise money for Ukraine. Like Girl Scout cookies. Oh my God. We've been living in a clown show, but Blake has been one of the circus ringleaders for a long time. Blake, tell everybody where they can find you and get some of some of your past works, not your archaeology, but your chronology. No, what word am I looking for?
Archive.
Anthology?
Archive.
Anthology, I think. Archive, sure. Archive. Where do they find you, sir?
thenextlevelnews.com. And of course, on Twitter, TV's Blake Walley.
Yes, do that. Now, also sign up for all of the things for the New American Media and the Agree to Disagree show. On Truth Social, we are the New American Media. On X, we are at American_media_. On Rumble, we are the New American Media. On Spotify, we are the Agree to Disagree show. On YouTube, we are the New American Media. On Facebook, you got to search quotation marks, capital TNAM, apostrophe, lowercase s, quotation marks, space, the Agree to Disagree show, capitalized TA.
We just have to get a graphic with your stuff on it, and then here you go. Take a look at it.
Oh, I will type that out. I'll type
5 minutes to go through.
I know it is,
but variations on every channel, and they got to look at the private group and send out a text, and
yeah, but it's
go to the
parentheses,
TNAM's
the Agree to Disagree show. On Instagram, we are the New American Media. And then on Telegram and Signal, search for TNAM, TNAM Official, TNAM, and TNAM Chat, TNAM Chat. So we're in all those places, the New American Media, the Agree to Disagree show, Blake Walley, and all the things. Yes. All right, let's jump into all of the stories of the day. I mean, there's so much going on, but I'm just happy to be here. I don't see those new video clips, Blake. Did you upload them? Oh, there they are. They just populated. Okay, here's a new, are we calling these stingers?
Yeah, I guess, yes.
Okay. I like that. I could get used to that. That's all right. That one's fun. All right, Blake, do you agree or disagree that we should be suspicious about the events and the officials who are running Maui, the events of the Maui catastrophe and the people who are in charge?
Yes, I am going to have to agree. There's been at least 3 officials that I've seen so far that don't seem like they should be there. Or who knows if they're being directed behind the scenes, but everything's very suspicious when it comes to Hawaii, from the fires and the response, and with Joe Biden and the people, not too enthused so far from old Joe Biden finally visiting to a it was a mixed bag there, but not too good.
Do you have a clip? Do you happen to have that clip?
Let me pull up a few.
Because I could try to explain it, but if you have it, I'd rather just watch it.
Yeah, we're gonna throw on a few because I didn't know exactly where we're gonna start here.
I mean, we could start with the warm reception he's receiving as they turn the corner. We could then graduate to him paying rapt attention, sitting at the table and not falling asleep. We could then cut to him trying to make this situation, like everything else, all about him, where he lies and tells stories that have nothing to do with anything. And the Babylon Bee, they're already, okay. Yeah, we'll start wherever you are.
Yeah, it's hard to say where we draw the line. Yeah, between the absurd and the reality.
It's such a joke.
Yeah, so it's hard to say what's real and what's the Babylon Bee. But we do have angry Maui fire survivors letting loose with their middle fingers and F-bombs at Joe Biden as the motorcade passes. So here's Fox News reporter Will Kane. Isn't he Superman? Here we go. Let's check this out.
Well, Will Kane used to be on ESPN.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, now he's doing some reporting from Hawaii, and because people keep asking him what the end is, and he heard numerous times about the traffic, locked down the island, and here we go.
Yep. Wow, he's finally here. Wow, yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks for nothing. Fuck you! 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 Hey, right here! Hey, fuck you, Joe Biden! Fuck you! Fuck you!
All right, maybe perhaps I should have warned everybody.
No. You know, perhaps America should have been warned that this is what happens when you get overthrown by whatever this guy is. 81 million votes, the most popular president in history. It has never once passed the sniff test. Not a single time. Oh, did you put that stinger up at the bottom there? Or what is that? A crawler. A crawler.
So that's from last week, Brian. Yes.
Yeah, so okay.
You always got to check the government and the official sources. I didn't put that ticker there, but I know we've got one in full effect with size of rumor control. Also, yes, anything entitled medical misinformation, because YouTube is really dropping the hammer. They're not effing around on any of that stuff anymore, as 2 of my channels are now shut down. We're on Brian's right now and a few other alternatives, but also on Twitter, on X, what have you.
I don't even, by the way, I don't see, where do I take that crawler off? I don't even see it here.
I would assume it's under the captions, isn't it? I don't know how you got it started.
Oh, maybe it's under captions. I was in the, yeah, maybe that's where it is.
There we go. It's on the very bottom. Tickers.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, found it. It was under captions. I was looking under design. Yeah, but look, that is the type of reception that is received by somebody who never had the support of the American people. A guy who, I mean,
well, actually, I'm going to stop you there. Hawaii was, I think, happy to embrace Joe Biden, vote for him, and complied happily with the mask mandates and everything. Locked that island down. I know people that were there, and so this is what they got. And then after 13 days or whatever of being left there, finally Joe Biden gets done from his vacation to go pay them a visit. So he's failed. And people, I think those are the MAGA minority. And then hopefully some of the people get their heads out of their ass and wake up. This is what they voted for.
So in a way, they're getting what they deserve. This is, what do you expect out of a Biden when you put a Biden in here? I mean, the stories that have come out in the past 2 weeks, it is so difficult to even put into words what we're hearing. The police blocked the streets so that people couldn't escape. That's been confirmed, right? We've seen those reports everywhere. Is there any dispute? Is there any pushback on that report?
No, there's really nothing from the mainstream media that I've seen. They just don't want to talk about it. I don't think there's a good angle for them. It just looks bad everywhere. And everybody's either incompetent or in on it. And it's failure of leadership when it takes 2 weeks for the president to make a visit there. He should have been there within first few days.
He should have went to the island next door immediately and started running. Anyway, we know what he should have been doing. Okay, so this is how he was greeted, very, very warmly, just like during the 2020 election when he didn't campaign and Trump would have, I don't know, 60,000 people cheering and excited. And then Biden would have a couple of circles with like spaced out areas where there were like 8 people, like 4 groups of 2 that could show up, and no applause and no energy behind the campaign. But we're supposed to believe that's the most popular man who's ever got votes in the United States for United States president.
He seems to add up, and they actually let him wander off script a bit, telling personal stories. Ended up being a mistake, as it usually is. Here we go.
Can we full screen this one?
I think so. This is out of
how they let him go off script.
But we have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. Years ago, now 15 years ago, I was in Washington doing Meet the Press. It was a sunny Sunday. And lightning.
It's going to do it again. It always fails me as I'm streaming.
Struck at home on a little lake. It's outside of our home, not a lake, a big pond. And hit a wire and came up underneath our home into the heating ducts, the air conditioning duct. To make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat. But all kidding aside.
Kidding
I watched
aside.
the firefighters.
Fucking kidding aside?
The way they responded. No, there's
kidding?
no expression.
What are we kidding about?
I grew up right across the street from a fire hall in Claymont, Delaware.
He's got like dementia really badly. He cannot, connect all the dots in his head, and he's just telling bits of these stories and jamming them together, thinking he's making a point. Yes, he did have a small kitchen fire, I guess, 15 years ago. I don't think it really threatened or spread that far through his house, but it's just not an appropriate analogy for something like this. I mean, this Hawaii was just devastated, entire neighborhoods, and how many missing people they have, and a lot of them are children, just incinerated to a crisp. So
I was just gonna say, did his 20-minute kitchen fire incinerate the dog and leave it looking like something outside of Machu Picchu?
No, and he didn't lose his car or his Corvette or his cat or anything like that.
But all kidding aside, kidding? What are we kidding? Where do we start kidding? There's no kidding here. You wonder, you talk about kids here. Why were the kids sent home from school that day? Did we get any good answer from that? Why the kids were all at home?
What was it for? If there was some other kind of a weather issue and they thought it was better for them to go home, have to go to school, be like a weather day. And I don't.
And
still trying to get all the information with all of that.
We're sifting through the reports that say the kids were sent home that day. But then again, it was a nighttime fire, right? Or was it nighttime? All the pictures look dark, but is that just because of the smoke clouds? That wasn't in the middle of the day, was it? That's a basic component of this story. I don't particularly know for sure, because I don't know how relevant it is if the kids were sent home, but then this was a nighttime fire. But
no, they sent home. Yeah, they were at home, and then there was no sirens. Nobody knew what to do.
That's exactly what I was getting at. The guy who
running into the ocean,
the sirens didn't set the sirens off, and he has no experience in emergency management. That's my understanding. I haven't heard much pushback there either.
Right. So
the island is on fire, but he doesn't set the alarms off to warn people. Then it was another guy.
They didn't want to share the water, right?
That turned the water off?
Didn't stock it. Yeah, didn't have it ready to go. Equity. Yeah, it was just, everything was strange about it. And it just, everybody botched it. Or this was allowed to happen. I don't know. These are useful idiots carrying out orders.
And
So,
who is the person in charge of the rebuilding or recovery effort? He's the same guy that was over there during that weird Vegas shooting.
yeah, one of the police chief, yeah, one of those guys, a high level, yes, was at the Vegas massacre, left, and then reappeared in Hawaii. So there's several strange things about this.
So, I would say if you saw, say if Will Kane with Fox, because I guess the other thing they're trying to do is make a media blackout. They're trying to say that you're not allowed to cover the story. They're trying to shut it. It reminds me of Bundy Ranch. It's like, oh, here's your free speech zone. It's like, hey, buddy, here's my free speech zone. It's wherever I want it to be. What are you going to do? We have a First Amendment right in this country, and that's what Will Kane was saying. So, I mean, it really reminds me of Bundy Ranch, where you're not allowed to cover the stories. They only want a certain narrative to get out there, which is exactly why we go to these things, because we can't trust what we're hearing and what we're seeing.
There's big pushback on that, and I've got on that too. But here's also Biden forgetting the name Maui. So here we go.
The Army helicopters help fire suppression and efforts on the Big Island because there's still some burning on the Big Island, not the one where you see on television all the time.
Yeah. So, and this is Scott Adams is putting this one out because one of the reporters was asking.
Oh, this one, yes, and they dragged this guy out of here. Good for this guy.
We're asking real questions. Yes, here we go.
I don't know.
And it's probably going to let me down again.
Yes, you do.
Well, can you rewind it to the
children
question? Because he asks him a question at the beginning. Did that one cut
He's
off
asking how many children are missing, and this is to the mayor of Maui.
I don't know.
I might have to transfer it to you, Brian, because I am having the technical difficulties that always play fine until we go on the show, and then they never see work. I'm uploading too much information with my video stream and then trying to run another stream. So I will pass that on to you, and you can pull that one up, Brian. Yeah, it's important to put this together. And there was somebody else threatened that was on Steve Bannon. It was, in fact, one of the guys, I forget his name. He was covering the train crash there outside of in Ohio there.
Is it Scott something? Hallis?
Yeah. And he was there, and he had some weird stalker there, and he was trying to speak to Steve Bannon. I don't know if I have that clip. I probably do.
Well, here, let me.
But there's clips when the alternative media is trying to ask real questions because the corporate press will not. Yeah, they shut it down or cover it up.
I was thinking about trying to go out there. I've
Hawaii
fought it
or
off so far. Huh?
All right.
Yeah.
Did you
All right,
get
here's he asks, how many children are missing? Here's the mayor.
I don't know.
Yes, you do. How many children are missing? You know.
I knew the answer to that. I would be happy to answer that.
You have no estimate as to how many children are missing?
I guess
Nothing?
we can end this right now if you guys want. Sorry,
This is one of the biggest questions that the people of Lahaina have, but you don't want to answer.
It always takes one or two to ruin it for everybody.
Please, this
That's
is
what
our
happens.
first
This is our only
Well, we could say that about you. You
Okay.
ruined it.
It only takes one or two to ruin it for everybody. So he was asked a question.
Yeah.
Is this guy for fucking real?
Ruin it for everybody.
Please, this
That's
is
what
our first.
happens.
This is our only.
Well, we could say that.
It always takes one or two to ruin it for everybody.
Please, this
That's
is
what
our first.
happens.
This is our only.
Well, we could say that about you. You ruined it for everyone.
You're welcome to say it. You're the media. You can say whatever you want.
You're a disaster.
All right. Okay.
Please,
You've been the worst mayor we could possibly imagine.
You won't even wait.
Respect. Respect what? This is the most dismal response we've ever had.
You won't wait for your turn. You want to shout over these guys that are legitimate.
Why don't you give them the real answers then? Give them the real answers.
That's not his question.
Let him.
Yeah. You can go. You can go. Yeah.
What is that little thing down there in the purple?
That I couldn't tell you, but
what is that little thing? Ugh, not to get sidetracked, but here's one more. This is where I got the title for today's show.
Damage to the survivors' will to rebuild and remain in the area. The destruction of the spirit of the people of southern Louisiana and Mississippi may end up being the most tragic loss of all.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Many ways more profoundly devastating.
Mine deposit. There we go.
Is that Mike Myers?
Yeah, that was. Oh, see, now I lost my chat options. Okay, that's cool. I might have to restart. But yeah, that was for Hurricane Katrina. Mike Myers and Kanye West, and just out of nowhere, unscripted. George Bush doesn't care about black people. That's the name of today's show. Joe Biden does not care about black people. It's Joe Biden doesn't care about Hawaiian people. It's the same energy. If you're going to beat George W. Bush over the head with that, like they did nonstop, from the moment it happened until the moment he went to his ranch in Texas. Yeah, it's time to start calling it. Do you also have the clip of Biden sleeping at the table by chance? I don't know if you happen to have that one.
I do not. I haven't seen that one.
Well, he's sleeping at the table. So yeah, Biden shows up there after he's lounging on the beach for a week. He's just relaxing, having a grand old time. And by the way, this is not the look of a human being that is going to be running a presidential campaign, right? He hasn't been campaigning anywhere because he's getting middle fingers and he's getting booed off the stage. Like these people are not able to walk out in public without being criticized, without being called out for who they are. Joe Biden's not doing any campaigning. So, I mean, it seems obvious that they're going to try to put the Obama spouse in at the last second. It's not going to be Kamala. They really don't want it to be Gavin Newsom. There's really nobody left on the Democrat bench because they look at RFK Jr. as if he doesn't exist, because he might as well be a Republican to them, just like how Donald Trump might as well be a Democrat to the Republicans. Both of the parties can't stand the two most popular people in them. So I don't know what it's going to take to get an actual candidate there, but this does not strike me as Joe Biden actually running for president. So, I mean, that's my prognostication. This is such a dismal performance on the main stage when everything is just in crisis mode. You have one job when you're the president. It's really to mitigate crises. This is the worst I've ever seen, Blake.
Oh, this is so bad. I mean, it's not even like, yeah, there's nothing really even funny about it or anything, because you want to say it's kind of like a Leslie Nielsen movie. Something is wrong here, but this is not funny anymore. And
there's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
Right. But it's just bad. And I don't know how did the corporate press just sit there? I don't know how these people keep a job or want to sit there and carry water for this guy or this administration and all of the evil stuff. How much money is that worth to just sit there and pretend like this isn't a problem? It's so sick that people are willing to sell out our whole country to keep propping up this disastrous administration and their policies, which will be a theme of this whole program. We got a few of these.
Yeah, well, let's jump to the second one, I suppose. I mean, after this Hawaiian catastrophe, Blake, Biden should declare a climate emergency. Agree or disagree on that?
Yeah, and I didn't even get into some of the other weird stuff, but that is a possibility here.
Go back, please. Here, let me reset
real quick.
Yeah,
go
back.
Now we can run the stinger there in a second here. But the Maui fires are highly suspicious. Here are 9 questions we should all be asking, since the mainstream media will not. Number 1, how did the fires really start? Because the Governor Green's explanation makes little sense, especially since the visuals show what appears to be evidence of direct energy weapons. Now, I am not going that far. It could be, and we're going to get into this a little quickly into the conspiracy theory, just because I think we have to. It's been so incompetent and so embarrassing that who knows? Maybe this is something sinister.
Are we talking about the green lights in the sky that they said was a Chinese weapon?
I don't know about that, but there could be. But I think it's, we're just going to do it for entertainment because I really don't know. But there are, different theories, whether it's the dews or whether it's, natural, or whether it was something to do with the with electrical. There's a few different possibilities. But number two, how did the fires spread so rapidly? We're told by the media the raging inferno swept so fast, visitors had to jump into the save themselves. Number three, the fire, which was supposedly already out, ended up causing the most damage of all the fires. Lahaina, maybe that was partly electrical, because those can be difficult to put out. And there wasn't enough water. As they shut it off. Why Maui's emergency sirens never went off as they were supposedly designed to do. That's also disturbing.
And the guy who was asked about that, who resigned, he said, well, I was worried that people would run for the hills. Oh, you're worried that when the sirens go off and people go outside and see fires around them, they're going to run into the fire. Well, our system is not designed for that. You read the code, it says absolutely for wildfire. Just continue. Go ahead.
I hear you. Emergency supplies. There was a telecommunications blackout to blame, interfering with delivery of said supplies. 6 homeowners throughout the area are being contacted by others to purchase their scorched properties. Seems as though the vultures are already circling to take over the area that has been burned to the ground. Did these vultures know what was going to happen before it actually did? And Evan, bringing a mobile refrigerated morgue. I can't confirm that's the first I've heard of it. Did they bring one, and for what purpose? Are there more deaths than what is being reported? Probably, and that's why the mayor looks so idiotic, because he should know how many deaths and how many missing. It's not that big of an island. They should have an accurate count, but he was not sharing.
I mean, it's about north of 1,000 is what most of the reports say. Somewhere around 1,000. 100 have been ID'd, and the other reports said just the remains are you touch them to move them and they crumble to dust.
Right, that is not normal. So we got 8. Why aren't police and National Guardsmen protecting what remains from looters? Number 9, why is the most popular White House occupant, based on the alleged vote count, hamming it up for his upteenth vacation while the survivors of Maui fires suffered? Yeah, you'd think with you can easily move your schedule around if you had to. You could remove yourself from the vacation or go to Hawaii for the rest of your vacation. But that's a bad look. I don't know how people can defend that.
There is no defense for it. And yeah, it's pretty easy. If you're on vacation, you just go to Hawaii and you show up and do a press conference and continue your time in the sun. Except now I'm here on the scene. I'm going to have regular meetings, in the morning, in the evening. I want updates every 12 hours. Like, we send in all the boats. You remember when COVID first came in March, April of 2020, President Trump put what was it, the USS Comfort and the USS Relief? They put them off the coast of Los Angeles and off the coast of New York.
I don't remember the names, but yeah, they were giant, like state-of-the-art hospital ships.
All hands on deck, and nobody ever used them because there weren't numbers for it. Yes, New York was pumping the old folks home full of positive people so that they could spread the death count numbers, so you could have that crawl on CNN with just rapidly increasing thousands of numbers that they could blame on President Trump for what China released. And if you tried to say it, you were censored. And if you tried to say it didn't come from a wet market, it came from the bioweapons lab in Wuhan, you clowns, you were censored. If President Trump said, yeah, you take hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin, you were called a conspiracy theorist, horse paste using. Come on, seriously, y'all, don't take horse paste. You were mocked and ridiculed. Everything that was accurate was lambasted as lunatic fringe. And look at 2.5 years later, Blake, every damn thing that we were saying back then is proven to be true. The batting average of people like us, real journalists, real people who have to try to sift through this crap every day. We're just guessing. Everybody's just guessing, but you get a spidey sense of when someone's feeding BS to you and when you're kind of onto the truth. And I would stack our batting average up against anybody out there, Blake. I mean, 2.5 years later, if we didn't call COVID damn near exactly as it was, I don't know who did, because it's like everything Fauci and the CDC and the feds were telling us were all lies. Just as it was a lie that the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't real, a complete lie. Just like the lie that Trump is a Russian asset, so they had to spy on him using a fake FISA court for secretive wiretaps, making Watergate times 1 trillion. We were right about that. We were right about every damn story. Maybe there's a couple we've missed, but yeah, we're going to ask about direct energy weapons. We're going to ask about our how do you turn off the water? How do you not turn on the sirens? How do you not let cars escape and go somewhere else? None of this makes any sense. So the president shows up, and all kidding aside about losing my car, I'm sorry. I did pull this one up. Let me. Well, I don't want to take your screen. Go ahead. Continue.
I can run this real quick. I'll run a couple quick, just quick things. The national news won't show you the footage like this. Children going through this stuff in Hawaii.
Hurry the fuck.
Oh, of course, it's going to let me down. Oh, damn it.
Well, it's consistent, if nothing else. We know that we can always count on it to do that.
All right. Well, maybe we won't be able to run that. But I do have one quick conspiracy, and I guess I won't run the video because I don't know if it's going to run, or we might get the copyright strikers because it's
what was this video? What was going on this?
Well, this is showing the crazy raging inferno and how people are freaking out and how it looked unnatural. This is Stu Peters, who does get the community notes a bit. But he said this is how Oprah and other elites managed to keep their homes burning in Hawaii. This is a conspiracy theory, but there could be something to do with it. I guess these apparently they found out that blue, for some reason, is not doesn't take damage from these laser weapons like other ones. So the theory is that if they are using dews, that the lasers do not affect the color blue.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that. Like they paint the roof of their house the UN blue.
Yeah, there you go. So I take it with a grain of salt. He has not gotten the community notes on this particular one, and I haven't seen any of the other celebrity houses that have blue roofs, just Oprah's. So that could be an isolated incident. There's like things that are blue that are not burned while everything else is. And they also showed some fabric, and it was like different colors, and you could make a laser burn on all of the other fabrics except for the one that was blue. So I'm calling it a conspiracy theory, but it's worth investigating because you ain't gonna get. You certainly aren't gonna get that investigation from the mainstream.
Remember that blue dress, the blue dress and the brown dress, the Yanny and the Laurel? Remember that?
I know the blue dress from Monica. That's about all I got.
Yeah, it was like you either saw it as blue or brown, and you would see it as both ways, and like the dress was.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking like you got a dress that has blue and brown, and only the brown is singed. Yeah, I don't know. And of course you would expect people to try to buy the scorched earth. But you know, the one way to make sure that you shut all these rumors and theories down is that you hold the insurance companies accountable and you don't let them deny the insurance claim saying that the homes weren't built to code. Well, you took out the policy, you can rebuild the damn home. You know, if people had policies and they're going to now try to welsh on that, nah, no dice. You also got to make sure that you do not turn this into a 15-minute prison camp or city. If you do that, then it's obviously going to show an ulterior motive, or at least give the projection that you are up to such things. Rebuild it exactly as it was and give all those people their land. And then that's how you can keep Oprah away and keep Zuckerberg away. You know, there is, I don't know. I've heard the theories that they're trying to turn this island into an Epstein-like playground, you know, rumors and stories, what have you. But this whole situation is pretty vile. Pretty difficult to follow, pretty disconcerting. I just wanted to say this is the level of concern that Joe Biden has. Joe Biden does not care about Hawaiian people. Here he is, meeting with the survivors at his table.
We are a community that relies on
everybody.
family,
The meat puppet
on
himself.
ohana, whether by blood or by friendship.
I mean,
But like many others,
he's
my son's home burned down. My daughter's home burned down.
barely holding it together.
My
He
home
can barely keep his
burned
interest.
down.
He can barely keep his eyes open.
My parents of 59 years home never met before.
I think this is elder abuse, man. Like, he's not capable, and yet they're just propping him up like a puppet, and they're just forcing him out there in the situation. He's not equipped anymore. He can't handle it. Way
Did you
past
also
his prime. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was your last point?
Oh, he's way past his prime.
Yeah.
His-
Didn't you also share something saying that they're trying to pass a fake Fetterman off? A guy that looks more like
No.
Breaking Bad? I saw
No,
that.
he's got some kind of a makeover. That was an internal dialogue. Somebody was asking about that. And Fetterman did, I guess he supposedly lost a bet with his son and he had to, I don't know, give himself a makeover and he's got a mustache or something.
That doesn't look like the guy I've seen. But anyway, we'll get to that later. So, yeah, they're going to be analyzing this event for years to come, says Dreamer. Just like they were analyzing the Vegas shooting. Luckily, the same person is in charge. Luckily, we got all the facts we needed out of that Vegas situation, right?
Not even close. They don't touch that one. They just want to blame it on that guy. Nothing to see here. Like he was just sitting there with, tons of weapons, just mass firing into a crowd. And taking their word for it. No videos, nothing. Oh, and they went after his brother. Yeah, that's another story for another day. That'll take another half an hour to try to break down that one.
Well, let's pivot from one part of Hawaii to the second part of it. Do you agree that Biden should declare a climate emergency? Agree or disagree in light of this catastrophe?
I am going to disagree, although I'm sure
Same
there's
here.
leftists that are probably upset about this. They truly believe that this is all, I guess, caused by us. This is what burning coal or gas vehicles, fossil fuels, we're warming up the planet, and this is causing the unusual weather. And so they would love to lock down, see if that happens, and give emergency powers if need be. Let me find a couple of stories. There are.
Yeah, I just wonder what is with these people, these cult members. Like, don't they see what's going on? Aren't they like they're a part of it? Anybody who mentions a climate emergency at a time like this, it's like see,
there's some weird stuff happening.
My words very carefully, because there's a lot that I almost say, and it's probably best I don't. So I end up pausing, and it sounds like I don't have a thought in my head. No, I have thoughts, and I'm just trying to be careful about exactly what I'm saying. I'm not always perfect at this, but these people should, in the olden days, certain people that were so full of it would get tarred and feathered. They would get removed. They would get publicly shamed. They would get banned. These people wouldn't be able to walk the streets. There was, the people knew. The people knew. So anybody that's pushing a climate emergency right now, I feel like they're all outing themselves, waving a big flag as the people who should never be allowed. I'm just going to stop there again.
Well, yeah, they are, and they believe that we are heavily overpopulated and that humans need to be micromanaged. And maybe they have a point, but it seems a bit drastic and probably unnecessary. And we're not there yet, but they're making some moves. So here we go. This is John Kirby from White House National Security Council spokesman, sticking to his narrative on incessant global warming and revealing that Biden might declare a climate emergency. And this, Joe hasn't made a decision yet on declaring this emergency, but for all intents and purposes, eating this with all the due gravity and the seriousness that the climate crisis deserves. Focus for him since day one. Okay, we can clearly see, and you can show him at the table, and he's not focused about anything. He's being propped up. He's being used and manipulated by the people behind him. They're the ones that are pushing this agenda. Joe has, I don't actually know what the hell Joe does every day. He just probably naps away, and it's sad. They do have to prep and get him to read a teleprompter once in a while. But anytime he goes off script, it's a disaster. So, I mean, please, thinking that he's really a mastermind about anything ridiculous. This is what could happen. Let's get to the next story here. Biden urged to declare a climate emergency, and what powers would that grant him? So President Joe Biden has been adamant that he has practically declared a climate emergency since taking office, doubling down on his actions that his administration has taken, including conserving more land, rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, and overseeing the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act. Lawmakers and climate activists says he needs to go further on climate, especially it's frickin' August, as temperatures in the U.S. continue to soar, threatening power grids and worsening wildfire risk in many parts of the country. So extreme conditions continue. Here's a look at what actions Biden could take on climate. So I guess they've got a National Emergencies Act back from 1976. Was that Ford or Carter? Right on the cusp there. Would give them the authority to take additional actions to curb climate change and in certain cases circumvent Congress in making decisions such as unilaterally limiting drilling and fossil fuels, which would likely be met with intense opposition from Republicans. But climate and environmental groups have been adamant that taking such a step is necessary to deal with the scale of the current challenges.
Blake, question for you. How much is gas around your house?
I don't. I'm gonna guess $3.50 to $4 somewhere in there. I'm not actually sure.
Yeah, I just noticed ours jumped north of $4 a gallon again.
Ooh. Well, wait till we. Yeah, I know we're basically pissing away all of our strategic oil reserves too. So
it's almost exactly what you would want to do if you flooded the country with millions of military-aged men from all parts unknown, including China, and you were ready to shut the grid down and have things go dark and have the invasion occur. It's almost as if it's exactly what you would want to have happen if you were trying to completely overthrow the country.
If you're trying to down and get everybody to crumble, to get into so much debt they can't get out, and then offer some kind of awful solution, and that's going to involve taking some major cutbacks, and it's going to be a lot of pain going forward unless we can get out from under this. And I don't know if or when or how that's going to happen, but all we can do is hope. It's getting to get bad, and Biden could also use powers granted under the Defense Production Act to boost manufacturing of renewable energy, clean energy technologies. I mean, you could just imagine having Biden and the people behind him using these massive power grabs to basically shut down the economy, and because people actually think that this is somehow going to, I don't know, make the temperature of the earth down a couple degrees and get us back into some sort of more, I don't know, palatable era. I mean, it's so insane.
And by the way, it's insane while all of Canada is burning, by the way. They can't seem to get their act together, or it's completely intentional because Justin Trudeau is clearly a globalist puppet who's hell-bent on destroying a formerly great nation, just like Joe Biden is doing in America. If you remove all the strategic oil reserves, wouldn't that be a great time to get attacked? Well, are we getting attacked? You have East Palestine, you have all of these chemical plant fires, you have all of these food processing plant explosions and fires, and now let's just imagine the grid goes down. Let's imagine all these sleeper cells are activated by the Manchurian Candidate. Let's imagine that, you try to call on your military to help, but guess what? They're all over in Ukraine. Why? Because, Trump got impeached for exposing Biden's corruption. Yeah, that makes sense. Make it make sense, Blake.
No, it doesn't make sense. Let's try to break us down. I think that's the end game here. So it's total control. And that's what the climate agenda is about, really. It's just getting everybody on this grid and micromanaging all aspects of their lives. So as they lead us to the Hunger Games, but it's going to be this weird double standard. And there's more to this on this particular subject. Segue. We wanted to get into what's next, Brian.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, this is the segue I was leaning over to.
Yeah.
Next story. Where did you want to go next?
So I should have just pulled it up with the. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Well, no, I think there's one more. Isn't there another one?
I'm
going to have to look at it.
Oh, here, this one. Sure. I didn't have it higher in my stack, but sure. This one?
Okay. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because it's kind of a better segue on this thing.
Yes, if you have a segue pulled up, I need you to do it.
My bad.
No worries. So, Blake, agree or disagree that we need to cut population, ban meat, ban dairy, and ban private vehicles, ban fun, ban sex, ban emotional interaction, ban laughter, ban sports, ban reading by 2030?
Yes, definitely. We're overpopulated, and all the stupid people need to be killed. Or they just need to be put onto a digital grid, and they're going to ban meat, dairy, and private vehicles.
But they won't need to ban them if the genetically modified mosquitoes bite you and then you become allergic to meat, right? That's the new one?
I haven't heard that one, but I wouldn't be surprised.
No, so that's the thing. If people become allergic to meat, then you don't have to force them to eat bugs. They just, I'm gluten intolerant. I'm meat. I'm protein intolerant. Well, yeah, okay. I wonder how the hell that happened. Something that's never existed until just now. Well, it's for the greater good. No. I'm still going to eat my steak, but, everyone else should eat their bugs and go to their prison cell or 15-minute city.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be one thing if they led by example, if I got to see, Klaus Schwab and George Soros and Bill Gates, and they wanted to demonstrate and move into micro apartments and eat bugs. That would get me to believe in their, climate change stuff, and Al Gore as well. They sold all their beachside mansions and said, "Hey, this is how we have to do it, because if we don't, then the Earth is going to overheat, and Earth is going to turn to Venus, and all life is going to die." That'd be powerful, and then we'd all be joined together on a common goal. But that's not what it is. It's not for them; it's for us. And they want this in place by 2030. It's a very aggressive plan that includes 14 U.S. cities. So an exclusive report revealed the global ringmasters and their Democratic allies are embarking on an expedited Marxist scheme to ensure you will have no choice but to enjoy bugs in public transportation in less than a decade. Oh, but you could probably eat bugs on the bus. That would be efficient. Between your two different jobs, you could get on the bus, eat your bugs on the way to your other job, and then continue paying your carbon taxes to the elites while they live in their oceanside mansions and eat filet mignon. So the Federalist on Saturday dropped explosive story with 14 prominent American cities headed. This is actually a far-left climate organization headed by billionaire globalist Mike Bloomberg that aims to abolish private vehicle ownership and wean their constituents off meat and dairy by 2030.
Bloomberg again with this Bloomberg.
Yep.
God, him and Podesta. And it's just like these people, they disappear. And it's like every couple of years they emerge from their shadows, like all covered in slime. Like,
I have a policy. I have another beautiful, wonderful, brilliant idea. I must have you participate.
Oh, I know, it's disgusting, and they really believe that there are rulers and they're destined to rule over us, and they got it, and they're great humanitarians trying to save us, and it's pretty sickening. But yeah, there's eugenicists masquerading philanthropists when they seem to be anything but, or at least maybe in their own head. But this makes no sense. And I can't, this is pretty, this is extraordinarily audacious. In 7 years, dystopian goals, the future of urban consumption, in this report, in 2019 and re-emphasized in 2023, largely funded by billionaire Bloomberg, and nearly 100 cities across the world make organization. And the American cities are Austin, Boston, Chicago, Houston, LA, Miami, New Orleans, New York City, Philly, Phoenix, Portland, San Fran, DC, and Seattle.
So glad we fled Los Angeles.
Absolutely. I just have a really hard time believing this stuff is you're gonna shut down meat in Houston or New Orleans or New York, Philly. I mean, give me a break. I mean, maybe some of these just total leftist lunatic hellholes will embrace that, but I think most would probably move away from that. It's
so the Philly cheesesteak would be replaced with a bug steak.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'd like to see that
cricket
one.
Paste. Yeah,
you'd have rival cricket paste either. You'd have rival cricket paste sandwich shops popping up across the street from each other.
Yeah, and then what do you replace the cheese whiz with? It would be kind of vegan orange cheese-like paste. It'd be like bean
Some sort
paste.
of secretion from a yak.
No, because that would still be dairy.
Oh, shit. I mean, from the hair of a yak.
It has to be beans.
You can shave the hair of a yak,
crickets,
ferment it, and it creates an orange paste.
Oh, maybe like cockroach milk. There you go.
Okay.
A little cheese whiz made out of milk.
So
I don't know.
We're all on board. We think that we need to do all of this, cut all the things out of life by 2030 or else.
Well, clearly we're overheating the earth, as Hawaii is shown, and with the Hurricane Hillary on the West Coast when they're not to have hurricanes.
I mean, how do you not shut the power off in Hawaii when you're in the middle of something that's that dangerous? Of course you, in the power lines, why don't you have things that snap off where if it gets disconnected, then it automatically shuts down. It doesn't have how is that not built in? Why do they have those above ground anyway? Why are they not running in a subterranean trench to keep them out of the wind? Okay, fine. Maybe that is the result of kind of hodgepodging a society together over the past 100 years. But, there's a lot of people that are saying we want our islands back. I don't know if you've seen a lot of these, but there's a lot of indigenous people over there that are saying, this is over. Like, we're not a part of the United States. We want you gone. This is our land. And they're getting vocal and they're getting angry. I don't know how far that's going to go, but when you design a city, you should design it a little smarter. But I definitely don't want 15-minute smart prison cities.
No, not run by these crazy people.
No,
I mean, there's one thing for getting rid of the traffic or maybe these heavy populated urban, dense areas of maybe not having so many cars or cutting that down or doing more park rides, or there are certain ways that they could do that, but they're going to the extremes and then trying to force us on those crazy diets, which could be that could be devastating. We're not designed to eat that. Only in in emergency survival situations, but the human body is not designed to eat all bugs.
No, we didn't evolve to become the top of the food chain to start eating crickets. It just ain't a thing.
Right. The chickens eat the crickets, and then we eat chickens. We eat their eggs and then eat them when they stop laying eggs. Yeah, it's a nice little system. It's worked for a long time. And I see no reason to switch. But yeah, it seems like they know what they want, and here's another quick story. Population collapse is good for the planet, according to the World Economic Forum advisor. So yeah, they want it to happen. They want to see the population reduced probably 90%, and then they can rule over the survivors.
Yeah, they want to rule over the ashes. Burn it all down and here's your crown, King Nothing. I'm ruling over the ashes, they say. Okay. Well, let's go from this powers that be story into the next powers that be story. All right, Blake, agree or disagree that the powers that be are planning another pandemic with lockdowns? That's been all the rage the past couple of days. This story has broke everywhere, and you're seeing it in all of the lying legacy media outlets. They've been told, start inoculating the people with this story. Here we go. So, agree or disagree? It's coming, round 2.
It appears to be the case. And Brian, I'm actually going to send you the video link because I don't think I'm going to be able to play that, but I am going to pull up a quick story before we get to there. Just saying, here we go. Biden regime is also to push for the nationwide updated COVID booster shots this fall in response to new wave of infections. Biden regime planning to encourage all Americans to receive boosters the fall, aiming to counter a potential new wave of infections. The Department of Health and Human Services and the White House's Office of Pandemic Preparedness and Response Policy are expected to lead the rollout, which is expected to begin in earnest during the second half of September. Administration is also encouraging Americans to get their flu shots in addition to a shot for RSV, I don't know how to pronounce that, syncytial virus, and both of which are common respiratory illnesses that can cause more complications. CDC report uptick in infections, even though the overall levels are low. But it seems like they're priming this up, and you could better believe it's going to come back in a big way in 2024 as soon as it's time to vote in the next election. There's going to be excuses for everybody to stay at home and just vote by mail or vote by the internet, probably.
Yeah, how about no? Paper only, and you count the boxes and you keep them available. You keep cameras on them all the time. You only get one ballot if you show your ID. That's it. One day, over and done. Nope. I do not accept anything digital. I do not accept anything mail-in except under extreme circumstances once you've proven your identity in triplicate. Every state voting roll has got to get cleaned up from all people that have moved out or died. No, I'm not. Not doing it. Paper ballots only. We're not doing vote by mail. We're not going to have an emergency and suspend the election. It's happening the day of, period. End of story. I will not relent. I will not back down. I will not acquiesce to any
Democrats aren't going to go for that. They're just going to be like, okay, tough shit, Brian. Good luck. They're going to go, let's do that. That's a good idea, Brian. Let's make it as open and transparent as possible. We're going to clean up all the voter rolls, make sure all signatures match. We're gonna show you Republicans that we're the majority. Well, that'd be nice. And we're going to have a voter ID, right?
All right. Well, it's something I don't do very often. I don't play InfoWars stuff, but Blake teed it up.
Neither do I. Yep. This was a huge breaking story over the weekend.
Can stop them. The article exclusive. Biden and preparing to bring back full COVID restrictions rollout to begin mid-September unless we stop them. Just get it out to everybody. Exclusive. Biden administration preparing to bring back full COVID restrictions rollout to begin mid-September. They may change the plan. They may speed it up. They may back it off. They might cancel it. That's what I want. But this on my children is from federal whistleblowers. And they're going to do it. They were told it's going to happen. And here's how we're going to roll it out to the public. There's nothing more I want than to have Media Matters and Snopes in October take clips of this and edit it and say, look, Jones claimed lockdowns are coming. Jones claimed more masks are coming. Jones claimed, new vaccine for the new variant's coming. It didn't happen. Look, he's a liar. I will literally buy champagne. I don't ever buy expensive champagne. I'm not even a champagne drinker. I'll buy a $500 bottle of Dom Perignon on air and toast all of you if we're here in October and we back this off. I'll dance a little dance if we can stop this. And look at the children after years of being tortured, celebrating. And these monsters are going to make another run at us all.
You know, and it's got me thinking as well, Blake. Like, I just couldn't help but think a lot of the mask wearers, they're inhaling all those germs all day. And how many cases of pneumonia did that lead to? You know, all of these restrictions that had nothing to do with stopping a spread or keeping anybody healthy or preventing catching a virus that's, you know, like a mosquito flying through a chain link fence. How many people got pneumonia and died because they were huffing their own crap all day long, because that's the only way they were allowed to work to keep food on the table for their families. I'm telling you, the mass genocide that was perpetrated on the human race because of this entire 2020 COVID thing, bioweapons attack. I just wonder how the history books are going to cover this. I wonder how this is going to be remembered in the annals of history.
I guess it depends on who comes out ahead. Because if the globalists win, and they'll get to rewrite the history as they see fit, and they did the right thing. They culled all the sheep. Yes, it was the great sacrifice, the great reset, for the greater good.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that will never go along with another lockdown. We'll see how it goes. Any other thoughts on this topic, Blake?
Well, yeah, apparently it was from it was like a high-level TSA agent that said it's coming. It's get ready. It's coming this fall, September, October. They're going to shut it all down. It's going to be major restrictions, flying, bringing back mask mandates, vaccines. I'm sure. Are they already talking? I mean, they already are promoting all the new vaccines, boosters, and the flu, and some other thing. And who else? Who knows what else they're going to come up with? So, yeah, this is the end of days. So we'll see how the people respond this time. Are they going to continue to get pushed around, or are they going to grow a pair and wise up and realize that the government doesn't always have their best interests at heart? But take my word for it. Check out CISA or whatever, CISA.gov. I'm sure the government loves you. You can go check it out. I don't care. Get a full perspective. Do your own research, everybody. Countervailing views. It's important to be up to date, but they have failed you before. That doesn't mean I'm right this time or that they're wrong this time. But it's time for people to do their own research, think for themselves. Don't just blindly take the government's word for anything, or mine, or Brian's, or anybody.
There we go. Next topic. All right, Blake, agree or disagree that President Trump should surrender in Georgia and serve his sentence in silence?
I am going to disagree there. I don't know if he should even show up. Not that I am qualified to. Definitely not, because that means going to surrender on Thursday. No, I don't think he's going to spend any time there, but they are going to fingerprint him, and apparently they're very excited about getting shot. So that
are you going to get the T-shirt? Are you going to get the Trump mugshot T-shirt?
I might. Yeah, it's a good cultural phenomenon. So that's going to be a huge deal. Yeah, that might. Who knows? It might be a collector item day as well. But we'll see. Let's take a look. Trump confirms.
I will say I am a little surprised that Trump has played along with these shenanigans the first couple of times. I'm pretty surprised that he didn't just stay at Mar-a-Lago and go, come and get me. No, I'm not playing your Democrat game. You've lied about you've lied to spy on me in my campaign with my FISA warrants. You lied and covered up the Hunter laptop to get him elected. You've lied about this. You've lied about that. You've lied about this. You've lied about that. I'm not playing your game. Come get me. I'm surprised he hasn't. I'm not encouraging that. I'm surprised.
Right. Yeah, I think I agree, Brian. I think he's doing the same thing. It's not a federal. It's total BS. It's kangaroo court behind enemy lines, and with him and 18 other people. So former President Donald Trump confirmed that he will be surrendering to authorities at Fulton County Jail over the charges he faces for contesting the state's 2020 election result. He said, here's the quote, "Can you believe it? I'll be going to Atlanta to be arrested by radical left district attorney Fannie Willis, who is overseeing one of the greatest murder and violent crime disasters in American history. For making a perfect phone call, witch hunt, election interference. He's going to have a bond of $200,000. It's going to be a circus. It's coming up in 2 days. What's unusual about, and especially with Atlanta and with the DNC there, you got before Trump was indicted for challenging a stolen election, you have Democrats denied election results more than 150 times. So apparently that's cool. That's okay. But when they do it, not Trump. And then we covered this last week, Brian, saying an election is stolen as a crime. Why isn't Stacey Abrams in prison?
Thank you.
And half of her 5 minute also challenging that. And she is there in Atlanta, Georgia. So, but they are to go after Trump for supposedly interfering with the election. It's unbelievable. Total hypocrisy, total double standard. So yeah, I don't give legal advice. What do I know? That's one thing I do not know anything about. But why show up for something like that when they're clearly on record doing the exact same thing, a lot worse?
Well, now
there were plenty of problems in Atlanta to be bitching about. There were a lot of problems in Fulton County.
Yeah,
and I don't know why he's not presenting all that evidence. I thought he was, so I don't know what's going to happen next.
Well, he backed off and said that under the advice of his lawyers, he's going to read it into evidence. They're going to put the report into the documents to read into evidence. And allegedly that's been the plan all along, they say. But we'll see. Now the Republicans there have called for a vote of no confidence to remove the law license of Fannie Willis, right? Like, what was it? 3/4 of both branches of their state legislature have something they voted no confidence, and that they're going to try to remove her law. Do you have that part of the story by chance, or would I need to grab that one?
I haven't seen that one, at least my news feed today. I know people are having a little fun on TikTok with that. It's a trend about the Trump indictments, fighting the deep state with humor. This is out of the Federalist. And it's just, it's several of these little tiny video clips talking about the little trivial things that Trump is getting in trouble for. And one of them was Kevin McAllister being lost in New York without his parents from Home Alone 2, from that clip. I don't know if I can. But yeah, that's him. And yes, he was guilty of that. Colluding with Kevin McAllister of having 11 items in the express lane instead of 10. Turning on the dome lights in the car in 1950 when his parents were driving. He's guilty of that. Not paying for one of the 10-cent grocery bags. They do that in California. People don't get it. Wearing white after Labor Day. Not wearing a mask while driving alone in his car. Oh, he's also peeking during a game of Heads Up 7-Up in second grade. That sounds serious. I don't know if I have that one.
I didn't know that. I just, you're telling me now for the first time.
I don't know if that's even the same video. I hate these stupid TikTok videos. It's also indicted for being indicted and killing the dinosaurs with an asteroid. Yeah, a lot of serious stuff. Anyway, yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah, the Mike Lindell took the tag off of the mattress or off the pillow.
Yeah.
Okay, so Georgia law provides the recall of elected officials. I'm trying to find this real quick. Ruby Freeman. Okay, maybe they're calling on Fannie Willis being removed, but I thought that they did actually. I'm not able to pull it out. Whatever I'm searching is not pulling up what I've been hearing. So,
yeah, I haven't heard that one. I can confirm or deny that one.
It's time for the Republicans in Georgia to grow a spine and fight back. I don't know what has taken the Republicans 30 years to fight back for. They sit on the sidelines. They let the left get away with bloody murder, and they don't push back. I don't understand it other than that they're in on it. They're in on it with them. It's the uniparty. So
right. Well, Brian, I got about 4 minutes, and then I got to go. We got 2 stories, I think.
Well, let's do the border wall. What's going on with selling parts of the border wall, Blake? Agree or disagree that selling parts of the border wall is a good idea to raise money for Ukraine?
I'm going to disagree.
Oh,
I can't
really?
believe they're actually selling this stuff. It's insane. So not only, did they stop building the wall once they stole the election from Trump, but now they're going to sell those parts as the border is just hemorrhaging people. So let's pull up a couple of quick stories.
5-6 million, a lot of military-aged men that could be sleeper cells under a Manchurian candidate. Yeah, that part. As our strategic oil reserves have been depleted. Yeah, that one. Okay.
Yeah, so Americans overwhelmingly concerned about situation at border. That's good. I think it's still a lot of people are in the dark and don't realize how bad it actually is because the mainstream media, the lying legacy media, is not telling them everything. Open floodgates at the Arizona border, which is why they stole it from Kerry Lake. The Arizona border allowing thousands of migrants to just walk into the country. Door to America is wide open. Thousands of migrants flowing into Arizona every day. U.S. officials have inexplicably, they're actually welding open these massive gates, 114 of them along the border, to allow water to flow freely during the monsoon season and for the migration of people and antelope. So some pictures of some of the people. These are the gates they're open. They're welded open now. Here's what the no longer locked, and the border patrol is completely overwhelmed, and they're really not allowed to do much. So they let them in. I think it's 7 or 8 million people now that are in this country, and it's unknown if how long they will stay, or if they'll show up in court, or what will happen. And people don't seem to care. And then we'll go to this. Biden regime sold already $300 million worth of border wall parts for only $2 million. So think of that too. $300 million of stuff, and he liquidated it for only $2 million. I mean, that's insane. Yeah, you'd think he'd get more money if I don't know what they're gonna do with it. Probably some of it's gonna go to Ukraine at some point. That's a black hole. They'll throw as much as they can. They'll leave Hawaii alone to fend for itself and leave the border wide open, leave us to fend for ourselves, and just dump it into a black hole in Ukraine. So, yes, there's over 7 million illegal aliens have already walked across. Which we said is about the size of the state of Tennessee.
That is insane.
Population,
All right.
So maybe not that much. It's not 7 million. I think it's 16 million, and I would have to pull up the numbers again. But it's an outrageous amount. Yeah.
Well, what else is there to say about this other than, America's been overthrown. I don't know who in the world does this. You don't do this in anything. You don't leave your back door open. You don't let a concert. You don't just open up the gates at your concert. You don't do it at Disneyland. You don't do it at a movie theater. You don't do it at a nightclub. You don't do this anywhere except at our fucking border. I mean, America is a nation in distress. I don't know how else to say it. I guess moving off of that, just one last thought on Larry Elder.
I'm going to actually leave it on to you, Brian, and you've met Larry. You've interviewed him a couple of different times, and we met him in Cleveland. He's a great guy, and he ran against Gavin Newsom for governor of California, and he was looking for a spot in the debate. And I just sent you both the links. One is from Larry speaking at the LAX airport there in LA, and also about the debates coming up, which it's tomorrow night. So we'll be covering it on the Thursday show, which I look forward to. I would like to see Trump there, but he's not going to be. But I think everybody's just ready to go on the attack. Maybe he's making a wise decision not to show up, because they've got people like Chris Christie, in there, and or Mike Pence, or anybody just ready to just probably distract by just attacking Trump, but they're not actually serious candidates themselves. I will be interested also in seeing how Vivek does. He's been an interesting character in this, and I would like to see Larry. He should be there, but I will have to go on that. But I will look forward to Thursday's show. That's going to be a big one with Trump surrendering, the coverage of the interview, and as well as the Republican debate. And who knows what else is going to show up, because it's going to be it's going to get more intense, I think, as we go forward.
I can't play the Epic Times. It puts up a paywall in front of me, but it showed a list of 8 people in like the Brady Bunch screen, and I don't know who some of these people are. I know who Larry Elder is. He at least deserves a spot at the table. So
Right.
I will play his Twitter link explaining the situation that he finds himself in. Blake, tell people one more time where they can follow you.
That would be TV's Blake Walley on Twitter. And of course, the archive for all of these shows will be on thenextlevelnews.com. Thank you so much, Brian. I'm going to try to find that article. I think I had another one from NBC or something, but then I went with the Epic Times, and I forgot you are stuck behind that paywall. Okay.
Aren't you? Or do you subscribe?
No, I subscribe. I like the Epic Times. And I even subscribe to the Gateway Pundit just so I could get rid of all those awful medical ads that they kept throwing in there. I was so sick of looking at them.
Oh, it's so gross. It's like every article is a bulging, throbbing, bulbous, everything. It's just a lump of flesh. You're like, what am I in the inside of what am I even looking at? They're the worst advertisements ever. Okay, I'll try this NBC.
All
this
right.
NBC story.
Thanks, Brian.
To be continued.
Thanks, everybody. We'll do it all again. Look forward to it. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right. There he goes, everybody. Blake Walley. Follow him. Here, let's pull up the Larry Elder situation. Yes, I have interviewed Larry multiple times. He's very well, here, let's just hear Larry in his words, shall we? There we go. Let's full screen this.
As you can see, I'm at LAX en route to Milwaukee. I was just informed by the RNC that I'm not qualified for the debate. Why? Even though I exceeded the 40,000 individual donations required, even though I signed the pledge to support the eventual nominee, even though I submitted 3 polls where I was at least at 1%, I was informed that one of the polls is not eligible. It's the Rasmussen poll. Even though it was the most accurate poll in predicting that Donald Trump would win in 2016, they say it is affiliated with Donald Trump and therefore it is not eligible. And I said to Ronna McDaniel, the chairwoman of the RNC, it's not affiliated with me. She said any poll affiliated with any candidate is not eligible. And no one told me that until just now. So we're filing an emergency injunction to get me up there. This is absolutely BS. One of the candidates, by the way, offered a $20 gift certificate for a $1 donation. That apparently is okay. Another one offered a free, air quotes, country western concert for a $1 donation. That apparently is okay. Another one offered a commission to prospective donors to get other prospective donors. That apparently is okay. But I did it the old-fashioned way, asking people to support me by going to LarryElder.com, and that is not okay. And now all of a sudden, I'm not eligible. It is designed, in my opinion, to make sure that Ron DeSantis is the nominee, anybody other than Trump. This is BS. I will see you in Milwaukee. Out.
Larry Elder out. Yeah, Larry is a stalwart, a bulwark. What's stalwart, bulwark? What's the word I'm looking for? Larry's a legend, okay? He's the sage of South Central. He's been doing his radio programs. He's been writing books. He's been giving speeches. He ran for California governor during that recall. I don't know how they put the same Democrat clowns in charge after that recall. But Larry Elder is qualified. He has name and face recognition. He's a reasonable human. You may disagree with him. You may not like what he has to say, but he's going to say things that are backed with anecdotal evidence, empirical evidence, rather, not just anecdotes. He's a very sharp human, legally trained, talk show. He talks all the time. He has very coherent messaging. He belongs on the debate stage. Hands down, he belongs on the debate stage. So instead of Larry Elder, who people know, they're putting 8 candidates qualifying for the first Republican debate. Trump is skipping the debate. And Wednesday's event gives his rivals their highest profile shot to make their pitches to Republican voters. Oh, they're going to do this. Oh, how goofy. They're going to have this. Yeah, you know what? I stopped watching Fox when Chris Wallace repeated the fine people hoax in the 2020 debates with Biden. That's when I knew Fox was lost. I was done with them as an outlet. You could not possibly repeat the fine people hoax without doing so intentionally, knowing that the story was lies, that there was no story. There was no story there. It was just a hoax. So I'm fine with the president skipping this. I know iron sharpens iron, but no, there's no need. Fox acts like they're a wing of MSNBC or CNN at this point. So here's who's going to be in the debate. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Nope, he doesn't need to be there. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. He's got some name recognition, but he doesn't need to be there. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. That's the man who ruined his 2028 possibility by turning against President Trump. Former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley. Globalist. Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson. Asa Hutchinson? Unnecessary. Former Vice President Mike Pence. Seriously, is Mike Pence polling? Are you telling me he's above 1%? I'm having a hard time believing it. Show me the people that have Mike Pence yard signs. Businessman Vivek Ramaswamy. And yeah, he's starting to get popular and the knives are coming out. I'm seeing a lot of pushback on Vivek. So I'm interested in learning more about him and trying to find out if he's what he's presenting himself as or if there's a reason for concern there. Tim Scott, Senator of South Carolina. So they're saying Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, former Representative Will Hurd of Texas, businessman Perry Johnson. See, in radio host Larry Elder. Larry Elder should be there above, probably Tim Scott. At least equal to Tim Scott. Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, no. Haley, no. Christie, no. Burgum, no. The Hurd campaign appeared to take issue with the RNC's requirement that qualifying polls survey likely Republican voters. Hurd wasn't expected to qualify for the debate, even if he hit the polling threshold because of his public refusal to sign the party's pledge. How weird is a party pledge? That's creepy. Even if you lose, you must support our candidate. Why would tell me why President Trump would show up to something like this? And honestly, I'm starting to wonder, just like Larry Elder said, he feels like the fix is in to push Ron DeSantis as the candidate. If that's the case, well, why? Tell me the upside to President Trump being there. He's not going to sign that. And so, tell me what it's going to look like if President Trump has to run for president on the MAGA party from a jail cell or from house arrest at Mar-a-Lago. Tell me what that's going to be like. Because there's nothing in the GOP that's more exciting than Trump. And in fact, what President Trump has decided to do is go directly up against this event. Let's see the ratings. Would you rather watch Tucker Carlson talk with President Trump? Ooh, maybe for the second debate, President Trump should schedule his interview with Joe Rogan. Seen them chatting at UFC. And I think Rogan softened his stance on not talking with Trump. Rogan's he's a little tough to pin down on. He makes a lot of sense on a lot of issues, but then he's still anti-Trump. And he's still kind of, I don't know, I'm curious about Joe Rogan, but Let's see. If the GOP is looking to grow our electorate and beat Joe Biden, then we better have a clear understanding of what qualifies as a likely Republican voter. Anyone, regardless of party, who is willing to check the box for a Republican should be considered a likely Republican voter. Expanding our party should be applauded, not penalized, Herd Communications Director Natalie Johnson said. Johnson saying that he's frustrated being left out, calling the process corrupted. Perry Johnson: the debate process has been corrupted, plain and simple. Our campaign hit every metric put forward by the RNC, and we have qualified for the debate. We'll be in Milwaukee Wednesday, and we'll have more to say tomorrow. So yeah, they're having an issue with two polls where Johnson and Suarez hit 1%. So what? Put them in there amongst the other batch of losers that shouldn't be trying to stab President Trump in the back right now. More than half the country doesn't buy into the official version of what happened in 2020. That's just the reality. He gets a do-over. That's it. Tell me why the Democrats are able to all fall in line. Remember that one day when all the candidates backed out and they all supported Joe Biden, the second least popular person on their ticket? Tell me why they did that. See, the Democrats will at least circle the wagons and have a grand plan and follow through with it. The Republicans just eat themselves. Even more so in the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party that has a bunch of difficulty cracking any sort of discernible metric. But hey, you know what? If the RNC is gonna screw Larry Elder out of this, I mean, he's fairly libertarian on a lot of issues. Maybe he could participate in the libertarian side of things. Where could he poll? I don't know. I think the Libertarian Party could do worse. So Elder claims that he's qualified, but one of the polls pointed saying he had too small of a sample size. Yeah, Trump will loom large. He's saying he might not even participate in any of the debates now. Why would he? So the debate's going to be broadcast on Fox News and on Rumble, the online video and live streaming websites that's a favorite of many conservatives, and to show how they fare in the crowded field. Yeah, watch it on Rumble, not on Fox. Fox is just a lost cause. So the unique donor threshold goes up from 40,000 to 50,000. So the second debate makes it tougher in September. Then they'll need to register 3% in a handful of qualifying polls, up from 1% for the first debate. Well, you know how you do better in the polls is you have a chance to state your case. Limiting people at the very first debate stage is just an awful look. It's a bad idea. I do not support it. I think it's foolish. Pence easily hit the mark, they say. Easily. I have yet to meet a single Mike Pence voter. So I guess I'll just believe that. Who in the world is going to support Mike Pence? Rogan to Rogan. Nice, Kenneth. Yeah, Fox on the rocks. Yeah, Fox is on the rocks, all right. So, you know, I think it's brilliant what Tucker and Trump have done to put their counter programming on at the same exact time. Brilliant. Genius. Let's show where the people are really at. Fox News has really they've overplayed their hand. They're still like locked into this mentality where they think their brand is more, and the GOP for that matter too, that their brand is bigger than a candidate. The American people have bailed on the Republicans. They bought into MAGA because it was like, oh, well, you know, I might not agree with this guy all the time. And yes, he might be crass. And yes, he might be difficult to support and defend all the time because he puts his foot in his mouth. And, you know, let's face it, the guy's a stand-up comedian, President Trump. And you can't be a comedian. You can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs. Comedians always have to push the lines, blur the lines, push the barriers, push the boundaries. But at least he was the CEO of America. He wasn't bought and paid for by the globalists. He wasn't selling our country out, opening the borders and selling off our infrastructure and weakening us on the global stage. He was the opposite. He at least said, I am now I'm the CEO of America. I'm the president of this country, and I want this country to succeed. This country, let's go. And he accomplished a lot of great things. So, I mean, Fox thinking that they're bigger than MAGA is foolish. The GOP thinking they're bigger than MAGA is foolish. I mean, do you want a MAGA party? Do you want people to officially bail on the RNC? Because this is how you get them to do it. Anyway, that's about all I have to say about that. I just want to remind you to follow the New American Media in all of the places and the Agree to Disagree show. I'm going to do something different. Am I going to do this right now? Kind of out of time. I'll do it later. Although everything's set up. We'll do it later. So I'm going to do some music reaction videos. It's something I've been meaning to do for a while, but reasons have pushed it off. I was going to use the same streaming software, but I'm going to do it on a different... I'm going to put it on my personal YouTube channel or the TNAM music site. So anyway, I'll do some of that later. Maybe on a day where the timelines have lined up in a different way, if you will. Oh, I almost wanted to do it. I have other things I have to do right now. So I'm going to take off. Special thanks to Blake Walley. Follow him. Appreciate all of you for watching and leaving your comments. But subscribe in all the places. Rumble, Spotify, YouTube, the New American Media, the Agree to Disagree show, Instagram, Facebook, TNAM chat on Telegram and Signal. Is that it? Yeah. Twitter or on X, we're at American_media_ and the New American Media on Truth Social. So follow us in the places. We'll upload the show and we'll bring you back another one on Thursday. So until next time, I appreciate you. I love you, and we'll talk to you.